Very good morning to everyone, and welcome back to the lectures on economic analysis for business decisions. Today in this video, we'll be studying Unit 4. We'll be starting with Unit 4, right? The Part 1, wherein in this Part 4, we'll be studying pricing strategies and methods, like different pricing strategies and methods like cost plus pricing, like marginal cost pricing, price skimming, penetration pricing, transfer pricing, cyclical pricing, price leadership, etc. we will study. Okay, so now let me share a screen with you so that you can see the presentation and understand. So let's begin. So in this particular video, we'll be studying about pricing strategies and methods. So the very first one is cost plus pricing. Now, this is the simplest method of cost-based pricing. It's called cost plus pricing. So under this pricing, cost of the product or service is determined and profit is added with the cost to set the price. Now, here the firm estimates the average variable cost for a normal output level. Now you all know what is average variable cost. And then adds a certain percentage or markup over average variable cost to determine the price of the commodity. Now, this markup is set sufficiently high, right, to cover average variable cost and of course fixed cost, and also provide high profit margin for the firm. So, cost plus pricing is fairly common in oligopolistic industries. To the extent the markup varies inversely with the elasticity of demand of the product, of course. So it leads to a price which is approximately the profit maximizing price. Now this markup varies depending on the industry and demand conditions. Like for example, the markup is about 20% in steel industry in general, but it is higher for products facing less elastic demand or in periods of high demand. So it is decided depending upon what type of industry it is and what type of demand is prevailing in the market, right? And elasticity of that product. So it all depends on that. Let's understand the formula. It is given by the formula markup is equal to minus 1 upon n plus 1, where n is the price elasticity of demand. Suppose, for example, n is minus 3, then markup will be m is equal to minus 1 upon minus 3 plus 1. So it's 1 by 2. So markup will be 50%. This is how it is determined with the help of price elasticity of demand. The markup for a particular product, for a particular industry, right? So normally the firm uses full cost for the purpose of pricing. But two issues are critical when a firm adopts this pricing method. One, the cost figure should be reliable and should not vary any error in costing to the price. And two, the market served should be ready to accept such kind of pricing. One of the cost figure should be reliable and should not carry any error in costing to the price. So if the cost figure is not correct, the firm may end up either with overcharging or undercharging the customers. And the impact of both on the bottom line is the same, negative, right? So number two, the market itself should be ready to accept such kind of pricing. So it may be visible if the product is new to the market, and it will take some time for competitors to come out with similar products. So these two points are very critical when you determine your cost plus pricing. The next pricing method is marginal cost pricing. Now, in economics, the practice of setting the price of a product equal to the extra cost, marginal, equal to the extra cost of producing an extra unit of output, that is marginal cost, we have studied. So, by this policy, a producer charges for each product sold only the addition to the total cost, resulting from materials and direct labor, the variable. So businesses often set prices close to marginal cost during periods of poor sales. Like If, for example, an item has a marginal cost of rupee 1 and the normal selling price of rupee 2, the firms selling the item might wish to lower the price to rupees 1.10 if demand has van. So the business would choose this approach because the incremental profit of 10 cents, 10 paisa from the transaction is better than no sale at all, right? So this is how marginal cost pricing is adopted, and it helps to determine the cost. Now, the advantages of using the variable or marginal costing are like methods include what? The goods for short-term decision making. It is very good for short-term decision making. Focuses the business on what is required to achieve break even. And however, there are some potential disadvantages of using this method. Like there is a risk that the price set will not recover total fixed cost in the long term. So ultimately, businesses must price their product that reflects the total cost of the business, not only the marginal cost. So that's the drawback of this pricing method. The next pricing method is price skimming. Now, what is price skimming? The practice of price skimming involves charging a relatively high price for a short time where a new, innovative, or much improved product is launched into the market. Now, the objective with skimming is to skim off customers who are willing to pay more to have the product sooner. Prices are lowered later when demand from the early adopters falls. So this is how this strategy is used. Now, the success of the price skimming strategy is largely dependent on the inelasticity of demand for the product, either by the market as a whole or by certain market segments. So high prices can be enjoyed in short term where demand is relatively inelastic. That is, when the demand is not changing. So the main objective of employing a price skimming strategy is therefore to benefit from high short-term profits due to the newness of the product, innovative product, and from effective market segmentation. So that is the idea. Now, there are several advantages of price skimming. Like where a highly innovative product is launched, research and development costs are likely to be very high, and as are the costs introducing as cost of introducing the new product, high advertisement costs, promotion costs, right? So in such cases, the practice of price skimming allows for some return on the setup cost, right? So where a product is distributed via dealers, the practice of price skimming is very popular, since high prices for the supplier are translated into high markups for the dealer, right? So for conspicuous or prestige goods, like the practice of price skimming can be particularly successful since the buyer tends to be more prestige conscious than price conscious. So then he buys the product just because it is a high price. We have seen this in law of demand, exceptions of law of demand, remember? So in case of prestige goods, you buy because only because the price is high. If the price gets lower, you don't buy it because everybody can afford it, right? So over there, price skimming works. Understand? So what are then the next method is penetration pricing. Now what is that? So penetration pricing involves setting of lower rather than opposite of price skimming up. So setting the lower rather than higher price in order to achieve a large, if not dominant market share. So this strategy is most often used businesses willing to enter a new market or build on a relatively small market share. You remember Balaji Wafers is the best example. Lay's was very dominant and they had to enter the market. So what Balaji Wafers do, they bought their products on a very cheap price and he was like, oh, so cheap and taste bhi acha hai, sasta bhi hai, le lo. And Balaji now has penetrated the market nicely, set up themselves in the market nicely. So this will only be positive where demand for the product is believed to be highly elastic. That is, demand is price sensitive, and either new buyer will be attracted or existing buyers will buy more of the product as a result of a low price. Understand now the example of Balaji, how you can relate it, right? So a successful penetration pricing strategy may lead to large sales volumes, market shares, and therefore lower cost per unit. So penetration strategies are often used by businesses that need to use up spare resources like factory capacity. Okay. Now, a penetration pricing strategy may also promote complementary and captive products. Now, the main product may be priced with a low markup to attract sales. If it may even be a loss leader. So, customers are then sold accessories which often only fit the manufacturer's main products, which are sold at higher markups. This can be also a strategy of penetration pricing of the uh, sellers. So the most obvious potential disadvantage of implementing the penetration pricing strategy is the likelihood of competing suppliers following suit by reducing their prices also. So they're cutthroat competition, thus nullifying any advantage of the reduced prices. So there can be a cutthroat competition. Their competitor can also reduce price further, and then now second potential disadvantage is the impact of the reduced price on the image of the offering. सस्ता है तो बेकार होगा, quality नहीं होगी, particularly where buyers set price and quality. So that can, but Balaji में ऐसा नहीं हुआ because when we had it, the quality was good, and therefore we then it was easy for them to penetrate because they maintained their quality as well, right? The next example is transfer pricing. Now, a transfer price is the amount of money that one unit of an organization charges for goods and services to another unit of an organization. So the price at which the supplying division prices its transfer of output to the user division. They are in the same industry, same company, they are different units. So one of the key aspects here is that a transfer price is equivalent to the ordinary selling price in the market, and that any department or division that sets a transfer price is effectively selling its goods and services at a profit or loss to a department or division within its organization. So it sells only the prevailing market price, right? Not lower than that. So any part of any organization using transfer pricing will be classed as a profit center, since it is operating with a view to making a profit, whether positive or negative, whatever. So transfer pricing, if no market for intermediate product, like then transfer pricing would be equal to how to set a price then. Then the transfer pricing would be equal to variable cost when fixed cost is same at all levels of marginal cost of production. And if the product is sold in the competitive market, then transfer pricing would be the market price of the product. So this is how the transfer pricing is determined. I want you all to find out the example of transfer pricing, the real life example of transfer pricing, and you should tell me when they were discussing next time. Okay. Now cyclical pricing. The pricing policy determined during business cycles is known as cyclical pricing. Now, in other words, prices change because of demand, competition, and cost push. So prices are slashed during recession and pegged up during a demand pull or the demand push. So this is how the fashion of the day is to fit in the horses of course to the courses, right? So during the recession, instead of price cuts, other incentives like greater discounts, low rates, etc. are offered. And during boom period, these incentives are of course withdrawn. So this is how cyclical pricing is decided. Now, there are three things that impact the demand, the competition, and cost push. Let's understand them one by one. Now, of course, the demand for many products fluctuates according to the season. For example, fan, AC, umbrellas, your raincoats, etc., they change according to the season. So, commodities are divided into durable and non-durable goods. So, demand for durable goods is elastic, and for non-durable goods or necessary, it is inelastic. So, this is how cyclical pricing is determined. Next is competition. So prices under various markets like perfect, monopoly, monopolistic, oligopoly. In the next video, we're studying about price determination under various markets. In the next video, it's coming. So adjustments have to be made subsequently to stay in the market. You have to change. That is called that cyclical pricing is adopted. Now it is cost push. Now this is a regular feature of any developing economy. Now India has deficit budgets and has experienced inflationary pressures. So in these conditions, costs are bound to rise. So it is a particular policy of changing the prices following changes in the cost of production, which is due to cyclical fluctuation. So prices can be reduced due to fall in the purchasing power of the people during depression. So this is how it can be done. The next strategy is price leadership. It basically happens in oligopolistic market. Now, an observation made of oligopolistic business behavior is in which one company, usually the dominant competitor, the leader among several, leads the way in determining prices, the other following him. Right? Now, the leader acts in the common interest of all the members, and the members in turn accept decisions of the leader in the common interest of all. This common interest is a thread that binds them all. In this sense, a group tends to become a cartel. So this is how a leader determines the price for the complete cartel, right? Now, the procedure followed by the leader is fixing the price is known as cost plus pricing. The firm enjoying a greater market share generally becomes the leader. Of course, the leader is expected to have a sound knowledge of pricing decisions. Now, the leader is generally the one who has introduced the product in the market at the first time. So he is dominant, he is there, settled. So he is the one who takes the decision of the deciding the price, and everybody because oligopolistic market there are only few sellers, right? So they follow him. So this is how it is decided. Now this ends our video. So here in this video, I've studied about pricing strategies and methods. Go through it. In the next video, we'll be studying about price determination under various markets like perfect market, monopoly, monopolistic market, and oligopoly, right? Keep on studying, watching videos. See you in the next video. Thank you.